Hello everyone, welcome back to Kirklees Guitar School. In today's riff lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play the main riff for Iron Man by Black Sabbath. It's an absolute classic. I've broken this riff down into two versions. I've got a single string beginner's kind of variation, and then I've got what Iommi is actually doing on the record. You can find from the first link in the description a full free PDF that you can download. No obligation whatsoever, you don't have to sign up for anything. You literally go on the website and click download PDF, along with over 100 other free guitar tabs that you can get on my website. First link in the description. If you really want to get this under your fingers, I'd recommend that you go there and get the PDF. If you head to the second link in the description, it'll take you to our private Facebook group, which is an awesome little Facebook community that we've got of players that are all following the Kirklees Guitar School lessons. It's completely free to join, and I do this thing every Friday called Feedback Friday, where you can submit a post of you playing, and I'll give you real-time feedback on what you can do and what you should be practicing in the next week to get it over the line. It's a lot of fun. I'd encourage you to go to check that out. So, what are we up against today? Like I said, we've got two versions. We've got this sort of easier, sort of beginners. And then I've got it in power chords like Iommi does. Both sound awesome. We'll talk about tones and stuff in a little bit. Let's get right down to the riff. Now, I want you to play all of these notes with your index finger. Iommi would always choose the lowest string possible to play the notes, even if it meant going up the dusty end of the neck. Just before he was due to go out on the road with Black Sabbath, while he was still working his day job, unfortunately he lost the ends of two of his fingers in a sheet metal guillotine. Unfortunately, he was a sheet metal worker. And that meant that he had to use prosthetics on the ends of his fingers, and he would use really light gauge strings and opt for the thickest string possible that was available for the note to give a sort of thicker, more rounder sound. And I think it's also something to do with actually physically getting hold of the strings as well, but don't quote me on that. But this is quite unusual. I think anybody but Tony Iommi would have played this here, using the notes on the A string. However, he exclusively plays these riffs along with all the other classic riffs over here using the low E string. So that's what we're going to do today. All of these are to be played with the index finger, and then we're eventually going to use either the pinky or the ring finger to turn it into power chords later in this lesson, so stay tuned. Right, so index finger on the 7th fret of the 7th fret of the low E string. Now, what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to play the 7 and then move up to the 10. So we're going from a B all the way up to a D. Just practice those two for me. And I'd encourage you to practice with a little bit of a cleaner tone, and we'll talk about guitar tones in a second, but you want to make sure you're getting all these slides in the right places. So as I encourage you to, you'd notice how I'm taking the volume down on my guitar a bit, just to make it clean up a little bit. So I'm going to go 7, 10, and then I'm going to pick the 10 a second time and slide up to fret 12. Now, just make sure that I made that mistake there, didn't I? I want you to make sure that you just hang about on that 10 for a split second before you move up to the 12, otherwise it won't sound like it. Now, how I'm getting that slide, I pick the 10th fret, and then I keep the pressure on the actual string, I keep it pressed down, and then I drag my finger up to the 12th fret while still pressing the finger into the fretboard. And we want a nice, clean kind of movement from fret 10 to fret 12. It'll take a bit of practice. We shouldn't be able to hear the step. We shouldn't be able to hear that 11th fret. It's what's called a glissando. 7, 10, 10, up to 12, and then we're going to pick the 12 one more time. Pause the video and get that under your fingers if you feel like you need a little bit more time. We are going to come back here in a second, but let's have a go at the second iteration. Now, this looks really complicated, but actually, once you pick it apart, it's quite straightforward. But it's really important that you listen to what I say, especially around this 10th fret, because this is where a lot of people play it wrong, and it's not while they're doing it on the record, okay? We'll get there in a second. So these notes down here between 15 and 14, we're proper getting up the dusty end now. These are called semiquavers, or the Americans call it 16th notes. These are very, very fast notes, and I want you to just kind of bear that in mind, that when you get up to the dusty end, you just need to pick your feet up a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to pick that 15th fret and then we're gonna slide down to 14, just down 1 fret. We're then gonna pick it and do it again. Now we're not picking it once and doing, which I've heard people play it. It picks both 15s. Following that, we're going to pick the 15. Now this is for a quaver, okay? So G note is this, by the way. And we're going to slide all the way down to fret 10. Now, can you hear how I hold on to that 15th fret for a split second before moving down to that 12? Where a lot of people get it wrong, they'll pick both the 10, the 15 and the 10, and they'll pick them too close together because they're so used to doing these quick notes here, okay? Take a breath here, slow down, and make sure that 15 resonates for a split second before you move down to the 10. Yeah, he says. Then we're going to pick the 10 again and slide up to 12, and then pick the 12 one more time. Sometimes you are guilty of picking extra ones like I did then, but we're all friends here. Okay. So those, if you need to pause the video and get that under your fingers, this is the top line of the free downloadable PDF. This is what it sounds like all together with a little bit of juice on the amp. So that's the beginner version. Try and get that under your fingers, or if you want to spend a couple of days practicing this and then come back to this video and have a go at what I'm going to show you now. Now, Iommi plays this with power chords. So if you watch the slide change here, all of the notes on the low E string still stay the same. We've got the 7, 10, 10 slide. Everything is identical on the low E string, okay? The only thing that changes is we're going to now, instead of playing single notes, we're going to play power chords. A power chord, sometimes called a fifth chord, takes what we call the root note and then the fifth note of the scale. Don't worry about any of that right now. All I want you to know about is it makes it sound chunky. Instead of, we get, it really gives you that sort of what we're looking for. Now, you've got two options here, guys. You can either play like I do. If you've got hands for shovels like I have, you can use your ring finger to play the extra notes. Every note that you're playing on the A string is always down 1 fret and down 1 string, sorry, and across 2 frets. Can you see how it makes like a bit of an L shape? If we look at fret number 7 and fret number 9, E string and A string, can you see how we go down a string, up 2 frets? That's called a power chord. I wouldn't put the extra, those of you that are thinking about putting the extra note down there, Iommi doesn't play it like that. He just literally uses 2, so that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. And all I want you to do is, just as that index finger's moving around, I want this third finger, or you can use your pinky if you've got smaller hands, either's fine. I think Iommi actually uses his pinky, I could be wrong. Live clips that I've seen. Wants to follow that index finger around like a little dog. So we're going up to 10 and 12, 10 and 12 with a slide, to 12 and 14. We're then getting up the dusty end, and we've got 12, 15 and 17. All exactly the same. See how I swap between my ring finger and my pinky then, because it's so sort of close together up here. I'm a little undecided as to which one I want to use. Gear-wise, Tony Iommi was famous for using Gibson SGs earlier on, and then a custom-made guitar, which was basically an upgraded Gibson SG by a luthier, a local luthier. I've used my SG Standard today. I would play this with the bridge pickup of your guitar, the tone and the volume all turned up to 10. I'm using my Quad Cortex today for this sound because I've got an absolutely ace Tony Iommi patch. I'm sure you'll agree. He used Laney amps. This is an orange and a 4x12 cab with a treble booster thrown in front of it. Sounds awesome. If you're using the Boss Katanas, I'd definitely use probably the lead or the brown setting with the gain at least 12 o'clock. I would back off the bass in the middle and use plenty of treble and just a splash of reverb. Don't use too much because his guitar tone was quite dry, and I'd like you to sort of do a little bit of that as well. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something from it. Don't forget to check out the second link in the description. Our Facebook community is great. And if you want some real sort of real-time feedback on the lessons, or you want to ask me a question directly, that's the best place to catch me. If you've got a riff that you'd like to suggest for a future episode, let me know down in the comments. I'll see you in a couple of weeks for another riff lesson. Thank you so much.